Hello friends! Today I'm going to be doing a manga wrap-up. This is going to be a combination of April and May reads. Normally I've been doing them once a month because of the volume of manga that I've been reading, but two reasons that this is 2 months. One is because it's already June and I haven't uploaded my May wrap-up yet. And also, I didn't read a ton in May. I read a lot in April, but not as much comparatively in May, so it would be a really short video, so let's just do one big long one. In the month of April, I participated in the 30 and 30 manga challenge on Instagram. It was created by Shay Geeks Out and 2 other people that I cannot remember right now, but I'll put their names down here so that you can see. So basically this challenge was just to read 30 volumes of manga in 1 month or 30 days. And I did really well with this challenge considering my track record with like readathons. I never finish a readathon, and I didn't finish this one either. I didn't read 30 volumes, but I got really close. So let us start with the April reads and then go into the May reads. I think for the 30 and 30 manga challenge I read 27 or 28 volumes of manga, which is really close. I don't know what happened in those last few days where I just couldn't finish like 2 more volumes of manga, but it's okay. I used the opportunity of this readathon to finish up a few series that I have been putting off finishing. And the first one is Aohar Ride. I read volumes 11, 12, and 13 of Aohar Ride. I just have volume 13 here because I don't want to pull down all this manga off my shelf. It's already a mess. So yeah, this is the conclusion of Aohar Ride, and don't hate me, but I don't love this series as much as I used to, or as much as a lot of other people do. I got extremely frustrated with the 2 main characters. There's tons of miscommunication. There are things that happen for, like, tragic things that happen for no reason, and they're just kind of like, I don't know if the word is red herrings or not, but they're just like, why did this need to happen? It didn't. It's just for dramatic effect and like cliffhangers, and it just didn't seem like it was had a good purpose to it. I was just basically like screaming at Ko and Futaba through the entire like last 3 volumes of this because they're so dumb. They're stupid. They're stupid teenagers, and it was very frustrating. As many of you know, I am not the biggest fan of Ko. I don't like the way he's treated Futaba and a lot of his friends, and just kind of he realizes it's kind of the situation where he doesn't realize what he had until it was gone, and that is very frustrating to read. I mean, I still like Aohar Ride, and I would still recommend it to people who want like a dramatic high school like romance manga, but if you're not into like drama and characters being like a little bit of frustrating, then I wouldn't recommend it. But it's definitely a classic, like a new classic of shoujo manga, and I think it's worth a read if you like dramatic high school romance manga. I'm thinking about doing a whole video on this, but I also would have to reread it again, I think, because I was reading it kind of as it came out, and I don't want to reread it just yet. So let me know if you want my like extended or like a whole video on Aohar Ride, because that's something I would potentially be interested in making. Next series that I finished, I read almost half of a whole series, and that is Hatsuharu. I read volumes 7 through 13 of Hatsuharu, and if you want like a feel-good like high school romance manga, Hatsuharu is it. I have so much fun with Hatsuharu. It is so funny, and the main character is the best. He is an absolute simp for his girlfriend, and I love it so much. If you're not familiar with Hatsuharu, it is a story about this high school guy named Kai, and he is the playboy of the school. He has a new girlfriend every week. He has a bunch of girls' phone numbers. He's super popular and all of that. And then one day he gets like yelled at and punched in the face by a girl he's known, like a childhood friend, and he totally falls head over heels in love with her. And so it's about him having a crush on this girl and an eventual relationship. Sorry for the spoilers, but it's shoujo manga, so you know how it's gonna go. And it's so funny. There is a great like cast of characters and different sort of relationships that pop up in it, and Kai is so much fun because he does this complete 180 from being a super playboy who doesn't really care about girls' feelings. He just wants to date and like hang out with girls to being an absolute simp. Like, he loves his girlfriend so much, and it is so much fun to read. He's super dramatic and like spirals into like, I don't know, he gets caught up in his own thoughts, so he kind of like spirals and gets like depressed over like nothing, and it's just really sweet and funny. I particularly like this series because it is from the perspective of a male character versus a female character, which I feel like is not super common in high school shoujo romance manga. Most of the time you get the trope of like the girl being like really in love with this guy and her kind of trying to chase after him, and you don't get much of the guy's perspective. And in Hatsuharu, it is all the guy's perspective. Throughout the series, I was kind of feeling like, oh, does his girlfriend, what is his girlfriend's name? Riko. I was like, does Riko like actually like him? And then I realized that she is placed in the same position as a normal like shoujo male character, where you don't really get to know what he is really thinking, and so you don't really get to know really what Riko is thinking. You just see everything from your main character's point of view. So I was it was really fun to read a manga from that perspective, where like basically the roles are flipped. Yeah, Hatsuharu, super fun. I read pretty much half of the series in the month of April, and I do not regret it at all. I highly recommend Hatsuharu. And then I read 2 volumes of another Iosaki Saka series, and that is Strobe Edge. I read volumes 4 and 5, and Strobe Edge, I don't know if it just came on the heels of me just finishing Aohar Ride, but I could not handle this. So Strobe Edge is like a high school romance where the girl, it basically falls in love with a guy who's unavailable, and it's a little bit of kind of figuring out who you want to be with and like moving on from relationships and that sort of thing. I don't know why I was just so frustrated with this. Maybe just because I couldn't deal with the drama. Normally I like the drama, but I feel like I was so frustrated with Aohar Ride that I just could not handle Strobe Edge anymore. I really liked the first 3 volumes of this, but I'm not sure about 4 and 5. Really, I feel like I would normally like this if I hadn't just finished Aohar Ride and read so much of it. So I think I do need to take a little bit of a break from Iosaki Saka because she's definitely like the drama queen of shoujo manga, but I mean, I kind of in a cursed but also good spot with Strobe Edge because it is like out of print, so it's really hard to, or it's going out of print or something, I don't know. It's very hard to find the rest of the series. So I'm gonna be taking a break from Strobe Edge, and then probably after like the manga craze kind of like dies down a little bit, maybe I will try to find the rest of these volumes. But I mean, I think a lot of people like Strobe Edge more than Aohar Ride, and I'm just not sure where I stand on Strobe Edge right now. I think I definitely need a break from Iosaki Saka for a while, and then once I can find more volumes of this, then I will pick it back up again. So next I read Golden Japonesque. This is by Kaho Miyasaka. So this is a Meiji era romance set in like Yokohama, which is close to Tokyo. This is about this girl, Maria, and she is basically half Japanese. Her mother is hooks up, I guess, with a foreign guy, I think. I don't know if he's like American. He might be Dutch because of the time period. But anyway, he is a foreign guy, and so she is born with blonde hair and blue eyes, so she sticks out like crazy. Of course, this is like set in a historical setting, so Meiji era, long time ago, so the presence of foreigners in Japan is not really common, and is kind of looked down upon. It'll make her mother look bad, and it'll make her look bad if people find out that she does have blonde hair and blue eyes, I guess. I don't know, I can't remember how she hides her eyes, but she definitely like dyes her hair black with like a temporary dye every day, and so it's kind of her feeling like an outsider, and like she has to hide herself, and she runs into this guy who finds out her secret basically, and this guy, his name is Rintaro, he kind of thinks she's like a mermaid or is like something out of a fairy tale, and is kind of like fascinated by her, but he's a little bit mean. Like he's a little bit rude to her, which is not fun, but we'll have to see where it goes. I kind of enjoyed this. I wasn't like super in love with it, but enough for me to purchase the second volume semi-recently. So I'm definitely going to continue with this series to see where it goes. I'm hoping where the story goes is that she becomes more accepting of herself through this guy who kind of sees her as beautiful rather than something to hide. And then I read volumes 1 and 2 of the Apothecary Diaries, and this is the stories by Natsu Hyoga, art by Neko Kurage, and then character design by Toko Shino, and compiled by Itsuki Nanao. Yeah, that's what it is. So this is a kind of like Chinese court inspired story, and it is about this girl, what is her name? Mao Mao, and she is basically a servant in the emperor's castle, and she has an interest in like herbs and stuff like that, and so one thing leads to another, and she ends up being the poison tester and servant to one of the emperor's like consorts. Kind of her dealing with like court politics and things like that, and also being sort of an herbalist and kind of being able to use her skills and follow her passion through these various happenstance, I guess. This was originally a light novel that was adapted into a manga, and I'm pretty much enjoying it. There's a little bit of mystery in it. There's a guy in here who I don't think they tell you his name until the second volume. Like, I don't know who this man is. He just appears, and I guess it's part of the mystery of it, but I'm just like, just tell me his name, please. I need to know. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's really different than what I am used to. As you all know that I am mostly a like romance reader, and so this doesn't seem to be relying on romance at all. There are like, I don't think hints of it, but there's definitely a guy who, that guy without the name, he's like a court official, and he is like trying to get like a rise out of Mao Mao and like kind of come on to her, but like in a joking way. I don't think it's serious, so I don't think we're gonna be seeing much like romance in this, and it's just gonna be kind of like court politics and that sort of thing. But it's pretty good. I think I'm going to continue with this series and read more of it, but I don't think it's gonna be like top on my priority list. I recommend it if you want to read some sort of like kind of court Chinese politics type of thing. Next up, I read volume 4 of Prince Freya by Keiko Ishihara. And you all know that I've been obsessed with Prince Freya, and it took me a long time to get hold of volume 4, and to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed with volume 4. I know, like a complete 180 of what I was before, but so the first 3 volumes are like non-stop action and like battle and betrayal and that sort of thing, and so I think it's really like heightened like emotions, and so many things happen, and then volume 4 is kind of the end of that conflict, so we're kind of going into a new phase of the story. I don't know how I feel about it right now. I know, please don't hurt me. I know I talked up this manga a lot, but the first 3 volumes I think are really good, and I'm unsure about where the direction of this manga is going from volume 4. It does seem to be maybe leaning a little bit towards a fantasy side. It seems like there's gonna be a little bit of folk magic in it. I don't like the way they depicted the king character. It just seemed stupid, to be honest. But I think I'm going to continue with Prince Freya, but I don't know, I'll have to see where volume 5 goes to see if it really lives up to like the hype that I put on it originally. So I feel like this is definitely a series that might not be for everyone. But if you like sort of fantasy, there's not a ton of magic in this, but you know, that fantasy setting sort of, what are we gonna call it? Fantasy setting, politics, or like battle, adventure sort of thing, then I would definitely check it out. It does look like it's gonna focus on sort of an adventure plot now, where our characters are gonna go on a long journey to discover something. So kind of interested to see where this goes, but I didn't love volume 4 as much as I loved volumes 1 through 3. Sorry. Next up, I read Mint Chocolate, and this is by Mami Orikasa. So this is a manga that a ton of people were hyping up, and I thought I would try it because it's popular and, you know, a lot of people like it, but I didn't like it very much or at all. So this is about two high schoolers, and the girl, Nanami, she has a crush on a guy at school, and then one day she comes home, she finds out her mom's getting remarried, and her crush is her new stepbrother. So it's like a forbidden romance type of thing, and you know, it's like, stepbrother, what are you doing? Type of situation. And I thought I would try it because so many people liked it, but I did not like it at all. The characters were frustrating. I couldn't get past like the weirdness of it. So I think on Instagram when I read this, I was talking about how maybe I would try volume 2 if maybe I can get it from Comixology Unlimited, or if I could just like read it in a bookstore and see if I like volume 2, but this I think is not a series I'm going to be continuing with anymore. The characters were just like too frustrating. They won't talk to each other, and I understand like the I don't know, the tabooness of the relationship, and that's probably why they won't talk to each other, but they like kind of make moves on each other and then like no. So it's just it's very frustrating and annoying and weird, so I am just gonna not continue with this manga. Then I read volume 29 of Yonah of the Dawn. I think I probably read this early on in the month because I do pre-order this because I'm just tired of being behind on Yonah. So once I caught up, I'm gonna make sure I'm caught up. So I pre-order these volumes and I get them pretty much the day they come out. So, and I read them that same day because yes. So volume 29 is so good. If you love Hawk, you are going to love this volume. It is all about Hawk's like tragedy and his, I guess, his struggle with his position in life. I was just so blown away by him and his character. There's a big battle in it, and Hawk really takes leadership, and there's always that question of, should we arrest Hawk? Like, should he be doing this? Should he be working with Suwon's army? Because, you know, it is assumed that by most people in the kingdom that he has killed the king, which we all know is not true. The loyalty of the Fire Nation to him kind of puts him in a interesting position in the eyes of the main kingdom. He was just so inspirational, and just like, I love Hawk. I love, this is gonna sound weird, but I love his tragedy because he is living a life that he doesn't want to live, and his inner conflict with that, and just like, I loved this so much. There's one frame in this, or panel in this, let me see if I can find it, that just like, I had to put it down after I saw this panel because it was so good. Okay, first off, this is not the one I was talking about, but this one is so good. His like dedication to Yonah, and then also this panel right here, just this one page, like, so, oh, I loved it so much. It's so good. If you love Hawk, this is gonna be the volume for you. I love it so much. So yeah, also some developments with the relationship between Hawk and Yonah, so really good. Really enjoyed this. And then next I read my new obsession. I've been talking about this on Instagram, I've been talking about it on Twitter, and you are gonna hear me talk about it all the time. So I read the first 3 volumes, or the 3 volumes of qqsweeper by Kyosuke Motomi, who is the same author as Dengeki Daisy. And so we have qqsweeper, and then I read volumes 1 through 5 of qqquality, which is the continuation of qqsweeper. And this manga, holy crap, I am obsessed with this manga. Like, I cannot get enough. It is my new favorite. It is something that I've been interested in a long time, but I was unsure about it. Haven't heard a ton of people talk about qqsweeper or qqquality, and so I think it's really slept on, and everyone needs to read qqquality and qqsweeper. I've seen more and more people pick it up lately, but everyone needs to read this series because it is so good. qqsweeper is about Kyutaro and Fumi is sort of an orphan girl who has a lot of bad luck. She moves around a lot, transfers schools a lot, and doesn't really have a home. And then Kyutaro, who is part of this family of sweepers, who are sort of I want to say magical, they don't really have, I guess they have magical powers, but essentially they help people get rid of intense emotions of depression, I guess I want to say. So basically, negative feelings produce these bugs, and the bugs create infestations, and they kind of accelerate your depressive or negative thoughts. And so Q-taro and his family are sweepers, so they are the ones who get rid of these bugs to help people like mitigate these intense depressive or negative feelings. So Fumi ends up being taken in by them, and she finds out that she is has the potential to become a queen, or the queen is like somebody who has a lot of power, essentially. I don't want to give too much away. The thing I love about this series, at least the first half of it, is its focus on like mental health and how like keeping a clean mind and a clean space can really help you like with those negative or depressive thoughts. And of course, it is not a cure-all. People still need like actual help for mental illness and stuff like that, but it really spoke to me because I'm a person who gets really anxious and gets really sad when my space is really cluttered. Cleaning is something that really helps me get into a better headspace, and I loved how this manga depicted it. So I really appreciate this manga for that, and also the characters in this are all like top tier. It's so like the story is so good, like it just escalates throughout the rest of it. It goes from being kind of like helping people with their negative emotions and getting rid of these infestations to kind of a bigger, more catastrophic problem that is occurring. These sweepers, they enter people's minds and help them clear them out, and so Q-taro and his family kind of take in Fumi and train her to be a sweeper, and then they eventually find out that she has the potential to become this queen. And I love it so much. The story is so good, and it is intensely romantic. Like, there's definitely a romance in here, 100%, and it is, the romance is done so well. Like, the feelings between Q-taro and Fumi are so intense, and like they are so good to each other. They talk about their feelings a lot, they comfort each other, and help each other through their struggles and their problems, and they're just so like, it's so good. I cannot like recommend it enough. To get into the later volumes, there is a bunch of tragedy that you find out about Q-taro and his family and what happened to his parents, and that sort of thing. And just like, I want to talk about the romance so much because it's such, they have such like a physical romance, and not in the sense where they're like physical with each other. There's a lot of like touch and like hugging and just like feeling safe in the other person's arms, and it's just so, it's so good. Like, if you have not read qqsweeper and its continuation of qqquality, then you need to go read it right now, because I'm never going to shut up about this series. So the first 3 volumes, qqsweeper, are the first 3, and they're the start of the series, and you need to read this to read qqquality. And then qqquality is the continuation. I read volumes 1 through 5 in the month of April. In the month of May, I read volumes 6 through 9, which, I mean, I read this so fast that I can't really like break them up into like what happens, but it's just so good, and I'm just so in love with it, and everybody needs to read qqquality and qqsweeper. So yeah, so these are the first 4 that I read in the month of May. Then also in May, I read 3 other manga, I think. So I read the first 2 volumes of Kiss of the Rose Princess, and so this is by Ayashuto, and this is the same author as Demon Prince of Momo House. And I don't know how I feel about this. I bought this thinking I bought something else, so this isn't really what I intended to buy, and I don't think I like it very much. Basically about this girl, Anise, and she has a rose choker that she can never take off, and then one day it comes off, and she finds out that she is like the Rose Princess, I guess, and she gets these cards, and when she kisses the card, these boys come out, and they're kind of like her knights. And she knows all these guys in school, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, it feels very rushed, and I don't like the art for it. Like, there is so much on every single page, and I don't know, it's just kind of weird. I just really wasn't connecting with it that much, so it just felt kind of really generic. I don't know, it definitely feels like an early manga for a mangaka. Like, Momochi House is so, like 100 times better in art and in story so far. So I don't know if I'm going to continue with Kiss of the Rose Princess. The jury is still kind of out on this one, but I didn't enjoy it a lot. The last manga that I read in the month of May is Snow White with the Red Hair, volume 13 by Sorata Akiduki. This is a very popular series, so if you're not reading Snow White with the Red Hair, like, what are you doing with your life? Pretty much. So this is another series that I just have on pre-order, so I get the new volumes as they come out, and I love this series. It is no secret. Volume 13 was really fun. Is fun the word? I don't know. But we see a shift in Shiryuki and Zen's lives where they are not going to be able to see each other for a long time. They're not going to be in the same place, and they're both going to be working on their own, like, dreams and aspirations separately. But they still have a really strong bond, so I don't think their relationship is really going anywhere. They're just not going to be together for a while, which is super upsetting because I love Shiryuki and Zen together so much. But we do get a lot of really nice Shiryuki and Zen moments, a lot of really good romantic moments to kind of like hold us off for a while, because we know that we're not going to see much of that in the coming volumes, I guess. They're not going to be constantly interacting, so we get we're fed a lot of really nice scenes. There's also a lot of really nice scenes with Mizuhide and Kiki and Obi too, and just kind of like the whole gang together for the last time in a while. To revisit some older some characters we've met previously, the ones from Lias, I think it is, the kind of like the scholar town where Shiryuki's gonna be staying. So a lot of our favorites from there have returned, and they'll be around for a while. And also there's a moment with Obi kind of being really honest with Zen, which is, I mean, not shocking, but it's like good content, you know. Forever love Snow White with the Red Hair. Yeah, it's a staple in my manga reading life, I guess. That is everything that I read in May and April. If you've read any of these, let me know in the comments below, and let me know what you have read recently. If you made it all the way to the end of this volume, then leave a, ooh, I don't even know which emoji. This is weird, but put a broom in the comments below if you've made it all the way to the end. The broom is for qqsweeper and qqquality. So yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more manga goodness from me. That is all I've got for you guys today. I'm Chrissy Lou. Till next time, matane!